What the heck? That's what it can feel like when you shift into your highest state. The essence of God, when you remember what you truly are, it is essentially unplugging from this matrix that you have been fully asleep and unconscious to. You have been hypnotized and lost within a maze trying to find your way out. But now, to shift into higher consciousness, your birthright, now you see the glitch in it all. You see that the lower state of consciousness is nothing more than being unaware of what is and forgetting what you truly are. God itself, the essence of God. And today we're going to discuss the lower state of consciousness, how to shift in the higher state and the difference between them. It's much more simple than you think. And when we get to discussing the lower state of consciousness, I have a feeling that many of you are going to say, wow, I never knew that I was operating here, because it describes what so many of us believe is just normal day-to-day life. I operated here myself for many, many years, totally unconscious, totally identified with my ego, totally identified with my body and who I believed I was, lost in a world of thoughts. Guess what this brought me? Anxiety, fear, depression, short temper, frustration. I know all of you can relate to this. It's far, far too common for us to try to just accept it or fix it. But there's something here that we can see. As you can see from the beginning of the video, it's like unplugging from the matrix. We can see the glitch in the matrix when we remember what we are. I'm not going to tell you a healing journey. I'm not going to share with you a million things to fix. I'm going to share with you something that is here directly now that you just don't know you are. And it is the shift from lower consciousness to higher consciousness. And it's so direct, it's so impactful and in your face that you actually see there's nobody to make the shift. You see that higher consciousness is all you are, and you are believing you are the lower consciousness. In other words, you are the dream character. You are manifesting the reality that you are suffering, and you might not even know it. And many of us do this, and the simple fact is because we are not aware. Everything else that stands in front of us simply noticing what is, noticing awareness itself, the higher consciousness that we are and that is already here. Let's get into looking at lower consciousness, the state of it. What is it? And many of you might say, this sounds all too familiar. It did for myself as well. The lower state of consciousness is when you are operating in the 3D. The senses are your guide, and the senses tell you what the world is. It tells you that a world is happening to a body, something that is separate from you and that you need to navigate, you need to figure out, and along the way, do everything to protect who you believe you are. Basic survival. When we allow this to take us over, we are at the mercy of it. High anxiety, high fear, high reactive responses, egotistical desires, chasing, selfishness, everything wrapped into a ball in what we call life, what we call us, and then we wonder why we're suffering. We wonder why we're so damn miserable. Once again, I'm not excluded from this. I'm a living testimony that I experienced this directly. It is, in a way, your own living hell. You're burning up every day screaming for help, but you wear a smile trying to figure out, and then you pop the medications, talk to the therapist, and wonder why nothing is bringing you salvation. It's because you never needed salvation. You simply needed to remember that the kingdom of heaven is here now. Let's look more. Knee-jerk reactions, egotistical responses, reactivity. You're reacting from a state of anxiety. You're responding from a state of fear. You're frustrated all the time. You're anxious all the time. You're trying to figure out your work life. You're trying to keep the roof above your head, pay your bills, earn more money, fix your car, fix your home, fix your family relationships. Everything seeming to crumble you down. Not that this doesn't exist in a sense, but this is what you have become consumed by. This is what is eating you alive. The senses telling you that there is a world outside of you that you need to figure out, like I stated, and you needed to protect yourself along the way. Materialistic items is what you chase. You try to find and chase happiness. You look for it in someone else, only to be left in the same exact place over and over again, looking in the mirror, wondering who the hell you are and why your life is like this. This is the epidemic, the pandemic, whatever word you use, that the world is suffering from. We have forgotten who we are, what we are. This is the lowest state of consciousness. When a past is something that you keep remembering, you're trying to fix, you're trying to change who you were then and who you believe who you are now and how it shaped you. You're trying to chase a future that you believe exists and you're going to arrive at someday, and all of a sudden you're going to be happy and everything's going to be magical. You're missing the presence that's here. You're missing the simpleness of being, the essence of life itself. You're missing existence. The lowest state of consciousness is also when you get lost and carried away by thoughts. You're not aware of your thoughts. They control you and you have gotten lost to them. When we have become so unconscious and so asleep, so fully plugged into the matrix that honestly, there might not be any hope for us to unplug, is when thoughts are our reality. And then you act upon them, believing that they are the truest form of reality. This is when wars, tragedy, murders, everything starts to happen, because these thoughts have guided you in this direction, believing that they are you in the world that you are in. How do you shift? And what is the shift like? What does it feel like to be in the highest state of consciousness? To describe it in the most simplest form, the most simplest way that I can, you notice all of this. You are aware of everything. Awareness is your superpower. This truly is your birthright. You are the divine, the essence of God right now. You have just simply fallen asleep to everything else. You have forgotten what you are. When you are carried away by what the senses tell you, when you are lost within thoughts, consumed by a world outside of you, and you don't see where all of this is being created, this is when you are operating on your lowest frequency, your lowest vibrational state. Creativity is nowhere to be found because you are operating in the guidelines of the 3D world. What you need to see is that the shift you want is simply just one step away from becoming aware. It isn't easy, and a lot of the time we can easily get just as well plugged back into the matrix, but awareness, even aware of the plugging back in, brings everything to light. When you shine the light of awareness, the light of knowing, the light of simply being on everything that is arising, this is your shift into higher consciousness, because no longer are you carried away by thoughts. No longer are you consumed and do you believe that thoughts are your reality. No longer does the 3D control you and consume you, material items. No longer are you searching for your happiness in someone else or something else. No longer does the chase, no longer does the real world, it's far from real. No longer does the 3D world actually dictate your moods and your feelings. Look, it's not easy. Some of us have been asleep for so long and operating on the lowest state of consciousness, and some of us truly will never be able to make this shift because we will never want to see what is truly here, because it sounds so simple. So many of us are operating on the 3D level that even the mind looks for something to grab, to conceptualize, to chase, and to hold, to make that shift. But the shift is just one step away. And it's a step that isn't physically done. It's a step that is seen. Becoming aware of what is. You are the higher state of consciousness you seek because you are where everything arises. The essence of God, in which the 3D, the senses, everything is known. It is created. Manifestation itself. When you see that you are where everything is created, you see that you cannot be limited to the creation. When you are the creator, the creation cannot affect you. It cannot consume you. It cannot hold you down and chain you in. It is the kingdom of heaven that is already here now. You simply remember it. So I want to bring your attention to this more. The shift and the difference is becoming aware, noticing the thoughts, seeing the thoughts for what they are, where they arise. Noticing the 3D, what creates and how it all starts to get created, even the identity that we believe we are. When you shine the light of knowing awareness on all of this that you are, the ground of existence itself in being, you see the character for who it is, who you believe you are, the ego, the personality. You see the jobs for what it is. You see the societal structure, the religions, the beliefs, the identities, all for what they are. And no longer can they consume you. I'm telling you, as a living testimony, I lived on the lowest state of consciousness for so many years. I literally would have said the same thing. How am I going to escape this living hell? The only thing I did was investigate, and it changed me forever because it showed me that there wasn't someone to change. It showed me the person I wanted to change was a creation of the lowest state of consciousness. That's the beautiful thing of it all. You are where everything is created, and it is God itself. God must be the Almighty, the eternal, eternity itself. Nothing is above God. Well, that's the ground of existence, the ground of being, where the 3D, the senses, the struggle, the character, the life outside of you is all constructed and created. Time and space. This is your lowest state right here. When this is what you see and operate at, this is the cycle, manifestation itself. You are creating that reality that you are suffering. Make the shift by seeing, becoming aware of what you are, exploring and investigating what is here. This shows you the ground of existence in which everything is created. And that is the shift, because when you see this, when you experience this, you can no longer fully shift into your lowest state. You may feel temptations, pulls, contractions of that lower state coming back. But once you directly see this, once that shift is permanent, because you have sat with it, explored it, and seen that it's the only thing that is here, you will never be lost again. This is the difference between those who are asleep and those who are awake. The difference is seeing that there are not even those who need to awaken, that awakening is all there is. There's only higher consciousness, and we are creating the lower consciousness due to the conditioning, the programming, everything you have learned, society, time and space, everything. You name it, the senses, that is the illusion, the tightly constructed illusion of the matrix pulling you down to your living hell. I just wanted to share that with you guys today. I thought that was really important because I used to operate there. I used to be totally controlled and confined by the guidelines of the 3D. Everything, who I was, everything, operating, responding, and reacting from a state of unconsciousness. And it only led to frustration, anxiety, and depression and isolation. Guys, if you want to take this deeper, if you want to explore this shift, explore what you already are, I encourage you to join the Core Collective community. The link for that I will post in the comments and the description. Just look for the Core Collective. And this is a community that I have started with members from all across the world. And this is exactly what we share together, on the same path together, exploring what we truly are, what is truly here, the essence of God, and remembering. So it's not that we escape the lowest state of consciousness. It's see that we were never this. This was a creation of mind, a mental construct. And now we see the kingdom of heaven is here within us all. And you are invited to join us and be a foundational member. I just want to extend that offer. Members are joining. It's getting exciting. Live calls, live group sessions, so much to share and connect. So if that's something that interests you, you are more than invited. Thank you all and take care.